Welcome back to another edition of the Pear Genius podcast. Feels like we've been on a vacation, my dear.
Would you call it a vacation though, or just a hiatus?
No, it was a vacation. I was recharging and I was tired of producing and social mediaing and podcast. I was tired of all of it. So, last week was a week of working, focusing on work, and it was actually quite awesome and rewarding. But you know what? Even yesterday, we were talking about how much we missed the podcast and recording. So, welcome back. I hope you missed me.
More than anything.
Yes. Well, I hope everybody in podcast land missed me. And you too, of
Doesn't
course.
matter.
You're the genius. You're the genius of the two. I think everybody's already figured out that I'm trying to work my way up to intelligence.
Oh, please. Stop being self-deprecating. It's annoying.
Is it? Yeah.
Yes,
Uh you know what's annoying? Saying like, subscribe, and share. Just do it already for
yeah.
crying out loud. Like how much longer do we have to suffer not being famous? Hmm?
I'm not looking to be famous.
We
Sorry.
have all this gold to share with the world for free. And yet the algorithm holds us back, maybe for our own good, for our own protection. Only the ones that will find us will find us.
You know what? I don't want to be famous. I want to be inspirational and not for egotistical reasons, but because I feel like one of our life lessons for you and me has always been doing it the hard way and figuring it out for ourselves. Seldom do we have a teacher, a mentor, a guide, an elder showing us the way. Nobody has ever paved the way for us. You and I are constantly paving our own damn way. So let us, please, people, let us be your inspiration so you don't have to.
Well, what did I say today that you're like, oh, I always say that. I'm like, no, but I have to say it. I have to learn the lesson. Otherwise, I don't learn. I think that's just the way I am. I'm hard headed unless unless it gets through my thick skull. So somebody
Yeah,
could probably be teaching me that thing, and I'm just not listening because I'm just not ready.
but isn't that the true idea of learning is absorbing and integrating? And I mean, I can tell one of my superpowers is seeing what you're not seeing, is seeing in other people the thing that they're supposed to know. And I can say it over and over, but until you hear it yourself or figure it out for yourself and then sit with it and integrate it, it doesn't mean anything. It's so maddening.
Yeah, it's really hard to because I love to share. And I know that there's some people in my life too that they get excited like I do. It's like, oh, I just saw this or I just read this. Here, check this out. And I find myself like, I'll find it when I find it. And I'm like, oh, that's how other people feel when I get excited and I share things that, were meant for me. Maybe they're not meant for everybody at that moment. They were more meant for me. And I'm starting to see that and appreciate, okay, it's not that I'm keeping it a secret. It's just that maybe not everybody wants to hear me screaming from the rooftops every time I read something or I learn something new.
I guess it's the same for me when I see something in somebody else that they're supposed to know, hear, or understand about themselves, and I say it, and then they're just like, yeah, thanks, didn't want to know. Really? Okay, then.
I will
Good luck to
exit
you.
stage. Yeah, I will exit stage left. Goodbye. Bye bye.
Wild.
Man, life is weird. It's yeah, you really got to be ready. And one of the things I wanted to talk to you about on this episode was the lessons that we've learned the hard way and um yeah. What was the other thing I wanted to talk to you about? You have a better memory than me.
Self-awareness, how
Self-awareness.
difficult it is. Because once it's not just having self-awareness once, but having it for your entire life, knowing that you eventually plateau in whatever experience you're in, and then you get uncomfortable and do the next hard thing. But you have to be
Mhm.
super self-aware to understand when it's time to move forward.
Yeah, and I was going to say it's been really hard last couple of months. Really hard. Picking the scabs, doing like going into the dark because there's a lot of things that I've put away for a reason because they're painful because I don't want to deal with them. And I think I was talking to you. I don't know if I remember we were talking on the podcast, but I was reading all these symptoms for ADHD and I'm like, I know I don't have ADHD. I have weird distraction coping mechanisms so I don't have to deal with my crap that pokes me. So there's lots of things that poke me that I can feel and then I get uncomfortable and I automatically go towards distraction.
Yes, you have some wild coping mechanisms. And when you don't deal with it at one point in your life, it comes back to get you later on. And then it's more severe, more intense, and it starts to take out the things that you're attached to, like your relationships. So I think that last few weeks has been hard for us because some of our traumas have been triggered, things that we thought we dealt with, but maybe we didn't. And now all of a sudden, the marriage is under the spotlight.
Hmm. And I would say too that some of the hardest moments of my life in the last few years were high anxiety moments. And I never really knew what high anxiety was until I came across this phase of my life. And I hated it. I'm like, no, this cannot be me. This cannot be, I don't want to be that guy that is terrified of dealing with the future or scared of the future constantly. And one of the ways that I started to cope with this was exactly the way I know I have to cope with most things, which is to not procrastinate, which is to do the thing that's causing me the anxiety first. Wake up and do it immediately. And if I can do that over and over again, I get stronger, I get better. And wouldn't you know it, I don't have anxiety anymore, almost about anything. I just if there's something that's bugging me, I actually make it a point. I don't even have to set my alarm. I'll just wake up at 5 a.m. and I'll just do it and get it over with. And I actually completely avoid most anxiety now. I mean, to me, that's a huge growth thing, like a growth moment for me.
I would agree with that. Would you say that coping mechanisms are all negative, or are there coping mechanisms that are healthy?
I think that coping mechanisms are with you for a reason. I would say that maybe you aren't strong enough to cope with or to understand, or you don't have the tools to figure out how to deal with that now. So you come up with these coping mechanisms either to
So
avoid or
it's a negative thing or no?
I don't think it's a negative thing. I think it's a self preservation thing. I think when you're not ready to deal with something, you invent these ways to get around it, to bypass it. And I don't know, can you do that forever until you die, or eventually do you is the bill due? Do you have to pay the
So
piper?
coping mechanism to me feels like a crutch. It feels like a temporary solution so that you don't aren't dealing with the actual trauma that's underneath it. You know what I'm saying? Like I think a
Yeah.
coping mechanism is actually unhealthy. I think that if you could completely eradicate a coping mechanism, that means you've dealt with the underlying trauma.
I would say that most of my coping mechanisms came from when I was younger and I didn't know, I didn't have the tools, I didn't have the wisdom, I didn't have any of that stuff to deal with what I needed to deal with. I think that's how they came about. I think that they were a positive back then. I don't think that I could have dealt with it unless my parents would have sent me to a psychiatrist and or psychologist, or if I would have had a mentor or something like that.
So let's say that you have dealt with your, let's say you've changed up your coping mechanism. You've identified the root cause as something from your childhood, and you've decided to trash the coping mechanism and replace it with a healthy habit. Is there a risk that that coping mechanism comes back?
That's an interesting question. So I was reading, of course, see, we talk about tools, right? I was reading in Becoming Supernatural yesterday or this morning that our bodies get addicted to these, how do you explain it? These hormones, these negative releases, like the drama. It's almost like we get addicted to these things, and no matter how far ahead we get, we tend to go back to this old DNA thing. So I haven't gotten to the part where, and this is where you come in because I think you don't need to read these books. You already have a feeling and an intuition, and if you tell me what that is, I'll confirm it in a week or two once I finish the book. That oh, you were right all along. This is what you need to do. Um, yeah, it's. I would like to think that eventually you can bury those things. I hope that my anxiety never comes back. I think that if I keep deferring, if I keep putting things off, or I put if I make decisions and I start doing a, let's say work wise, if I start doing a terrible job and I put myself in a position where I'm not looking forward to anything I'm doing anymore, obviously it's the decisions I've made, not the coping mechanisms or the procrastination. It's, I don't know. Did I answer that?
I would be careful about using words like burying it because if you bury it, it's probably coming back like a zombie and worse. You know,
Yeah,
I
you're right.
feel like
Pet
I think
cemetery.
the right word is probably integrate it, right? Like identify it, integrate it, and move on to the next version of you. I also think that our conscious creates these coping mechanisms, and I wonder how much our subconscious listens to the coping mechanisms and kind of runs the program through it. And I think that you would almost need hypnotherapy to access that deep a layer and then reset it so that you stop deferring back to it.
Yeah, I think that I think with wisdom, I don't know. How do you explain it? It's so easy to stop working out and to lay on the couch for 3 or 4 days. And then the more days that go by, the harder it is to start working out again. You
I
know
don't
what I mean?
identify.
Yeah, I know you don't, but I'm telling you, for most people, it's like that. It's hard. Same with the vitamins. Look at the stupid vitamins on my desk here. Look at this. Look at these things. I got these things that are supposed to keep me organized. This one's full. This is Saturday. I have not taken vitamins since Saturday. I used to take vitamins every day when I had my own way of keeping track of it. It's all about the habits that work for you. You know, this on paper, wow, this is super organized. This really works for me. But you know what actually works for me? Having the stupid bottles beside my toothpaste. And after I finish brushing my teeth in the morning, I just gobble up a bunch of stupid vitamins and go about my day. This does nothing for me. This doesn't
So,
work
okay, but you said that to me like 2 days ago. So why is it still like that? Just go back to your old way of doing it.
because I'm still sitting on the couch getting fat. I'm like, I'm not going back to the routine yet. Like, I got to suffer a little bit more.
Oh.
It's so hard to make a good habit stay. It's so easy to make the bad habits take over and they feel so good and oh yeah, bad
But do they
habits.
actually feel good? Like if you sat and thought about it, okay, let's take like when I was young, when I was little, my room was a pigsty, like so bad that my grandma would have to come over and help me clean it because it was too overwhelming. And I don't know where my mom was, she wasn't interested, but my grandma came over and helped me clean it all up. But wouldn't you say I'm the exact opposite now? That there came a point where something switched in my head where I thought, this feels terrible. Like walking into a disorganized mess, especially in your room where you're supposed to heal and relax and recharge, it feels terrible to be in this pigsty. And so knowing that, like leaning into the discomfort, the emotion of it, I'm like, okay, we're changing. And I've never gone back. I've been super clean ever since.
Okay, so when do you think that started for you? I have an idea, but I'd like to know when you
When
think it
did what
is.
start? Like when it switched?
You yeah, when you switched and you started cleaning and taking pride in that.
It was when we moved to Gillum and we had our own house,
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say too.
right?
I'm like, when we moved to that house, and I don't know, you kind of took on the homemaker vibe, and you enjoyed cooking, and you enjoyed the cleaning, and you enjoyed having a house and not just an apartment. Like it felt more like home, right? It didn't just feel like a room. Our apartment was
Right.
so small, and
And so the apartment was our first, and it was teeny tiny, and it was in an old folks' home. Old folks' home. It was 55 plus. I don't even know how we got in there, but whatever. I was happy to be there with the old people.
hmm
And I don't know. We were busy with school. We were busy trying to make enough money to buy things that were not expensive, like cheese,
cheese,
So there was not a lot of
luxuries.
time to organize and clean and make that a thing. And then we moved to Gillum, and all of a sudden you're working all these crazy hours and you're making all this ridiculous northern money. And I have a chance to be like, oh, what's my purpose now? Because I don't technically have to work. I don't know anybody in Gillum. I have no friends. So it was like I stepped into the knowing of I love creating a space of cleanliness and healing and organization. And Oh my God, I ate it up. I loved it so much. And then, of course, life changes, and all these years later, it's like all I do is work, and I don't have time to do the things that I love, like making homemade laundry detergent and, like all this stuff. I love it so much.
But it's funny how your hobby is that stuff now because it's your meditation time. It's funny. I watch you cook while I'm watching TV and you're just having the best time ever. It's like watching me in the garage. I'm doing my thing. I'm in my happy place. I'm enjoying building something. I'm enjoying fixing something. And
Yeah, nobody's bothering me when I'm cooking or cleaning or doing a puzzle or making homemade potions for things in the house.
yeah, the kids aren't running out. Hey, mom, can I help?
Right? Although I wish they would. I would totally love to share my knowledge, but I mean, I'm a big dork to them, so
Maybe our grandchildren will, or maybe once they get older and move out, they'll come back and they'll ask for wisdom because, or you know what
when
they'll
they
ask
move,
for? They'll ask for their mom to come and clean their house for them.
I'm not doing it. But what they can do is come to me and ask me, how do you make this homemade linen spray? I've got you. Come over, I'll show you how to make it. You can take it back to your house.
Wouldn't
They'll
you
be
just like to
back.
make it for them?
Yeah, I can gift it to them, but I'd rather they know how.
Yeah. You know what I love? I don't know if everybody knows this, but I bought you the cookbook that's just yours, and it's empty, and then you fill it in. I thought, man, that is actually one of the coolest gifts I've ever given you. Because when you die, I think the kids will end up fighting over something like that because it's
I
just
don't
that's
know.
a huge piece of you and a huge piece of, well, not that they really eat, but it would bring up a bunch of memories.
Yeah, I can see Emma coming for it because she'll be the one cooking. Laura is too regal to cook for herself. She'll have somebody doing it for her. Sorry,
Yes.
Austin.
The chef. Give this to the chef and make them make it. I won't,
Yep.
Alora won't eat any of it. She'll just look at it and remember her mother. Dude, we live in a weird life where our children don't eat our food. I was bragging on one podcast how we always sit and we have dinner together. Holy smokes, we are in this funk right now where they don't eat what you make, they don't eat with us. They eat in their rooms. Emma is just this troglodyte, the plates and forks that are missing on the
She's
record.
not going to be
Oh,
happy that you said that.
yeah, I know. And I bought forks and then show them your hand. Show them what you did to yourself. When I look at this disgusting cut, she almost cut her whole hand off. Yeah, I saw it there. Trying to get the new forks out of the packaging. It was so sad. Emma,
Eh,
I'm coming for you. You owe me forks. She lost all her forks. I know people
all
can
right.
relate. I know people can relate to this. They take the utensils to school and then they throw them in the garbage like they're
It's
free.
true.
Those forks are from when we first got married.
Really? No, come on.
Yeah,
I'm sure we replaced them.
you think so?
No, oh yeah, we've replaced them.
Oh, maybe. Okay, fine. They're Costco forks, but I love Costco forks.
Thinking they're probably Costco forks.
I don't like these new forks as much. I'm sorry. We're wasting time on the podcast. Um, yeah. What do you think? Okay, so you had that big switch, and I mean, I'm definitely not as big of a slob as I used to be, but I can be. I mean, once in a while, but I'll drive myself crazy. Oh man, look at all this clothes on the side of my room. Your side of the room's totally clean, and then I just can't. I'll get like three or four pieces of clothing, and then okay, I'll pick it up, fold it, throw it in the hamper or whatever if it's still clean. I'll actually fold some clothes and put them away. But uh, I don't know. Have you noticed anything about me different than when we first got married?
I mean, you had a very big aha moment last week. Well, the whole ADHD thing that you don't have, but some of the coping mechanisms that you discovered through that, which I won't share because it's personal. But I don't know that. I mean, have you done any work on that? Like, have you spent time thinking about it? I don't even know.
Um, yeah. What was I gonna say about that? It's man. I did have this aha moment. Keep going and I'll remember it. Keep going. I'm blanking. I'm sorry.
What do you mean? Like you had an aha moment about that particular coping mechanism?
I had an aha moment about, oh, about myself. Yes, thank you. You bought me a few extra seconds. I used to get so mad and so frustrated, like angry when things would break, when things would stop working and I would have to fix them. And now, who I am now is the exact opposite. It's so weird. I had that aha moment that things that would break drove me crazy. Even in our first house that we bought, it would stress me out so badly. Like I was upset that something wasn't working. And now I've just come to the I guess with the wisdom that things wear out or they break, and but I have this I guess I don't let these things build up. Like I don't let the to-do list build up. If something isn't working, I address it almost immediately. Don't you think?
Yes,
And
that's part of your procrastination coping mechanism that you've now fixed.
I fix it. Yeah. So if something is not working or driving me crazy, I will take care of it. And I usually fix things pretty well. There's not too much stuff I can't fix now. And I actually don't mind a little bit of the challenge. Sometimes I'll minorly swear my way through it. But I mean, I was worried your headphones that you're wearing right now, they weren't working. And I kind of got a little bit of a panicked because they're not cheap and, they're not that old that they should be not working anymore. So I was worried. I'm like, okay, this is going to be a challenging thing for me to fix because electronics and usually they're throwaway. So I did some troubleshooting. I managed to fix it. Man, I felt so good after the the pride, the endorphins just like flooded through me. I was like, "Oh wow, I still got it." And it felt really good. I had that little bit of just a little bit of doubt that I wouldn't be able to because I know how much you like them and I was worried that you're going to lose them or I'd have to replace them and it's a lot of money, but um yeah, just things like that used to. But the old me, I would have been so mad that you broke them, or I would have been so mad, like, what did you do to this? And blah blah. And then I'd go and I'd stomp around in the garage and be furious at these things for not working. But man, have I ever come a long way that really isn't the case. And you know what? The result is way better. It's fixed faster. It's easier. The whole troubleshooting process is even easier. I'm not panicking. I love
Which
that about me now.
I was just about to say that the higher perspective of what you just said about being the fixer is that you're just a problem solver. Like I think you actually at your core are a problem solver and you love to bring an arsenal of knowledge and tools and experience so that you can fix it in a less frustrating way for yourself and for everybody else around you. And I
Hmm.
think that was one of our big aha moments recently is that you and I kind of figured out the next thing that we're supposed to be doing, that next phase, the next evolution of you and I and how we're serving the people. So I really love that you're this problem solver. And I love that now you get to be in this consulting role where you're just really high level. Like I have listened to you talk to extremely intelligent humans and blow their minds with all of these possibilities that they couldn't see before. I love that that's the next version of you.
Yeah, and the funny thing is to just try and embrace that, my superpower is just this common knowledge to me, but yet it blows people away. So it's humbling and exciting at the same time. But you know what? I love seeing that in other people too. I think that's one of my superpowers is seeing other people's superpowers and letting them know, "Oh wow, you are amazing at that." And watching them light up as if like you have that gift too where you see people. I see people's superpowers and I let them know that I appreciate that about them and that they should really lean into that. I think that's huge.
Uh, that's gigantic. And I think that you and me both coming into this at the same time is not an accident. The fact that your and my superpower play off of each other so that we can combine them, not an accident. We know that the things that we do going forward are meant to be done together. And last week, we were really in resonance. I would say that the word of last week was resonance. We were vibrating so high. We were really like being in resonance has a specific feel to it. And then all of a sudden this week, I like bounced out of it. And I'm like, where did it go? Where did the resonance go? Just because you come across the thing that sets off your soul to hum in perfect harmony with your entire being doesn't mean it's always there. You have to keep doing the work. The work never stops. It's like, yes, I have found my superpower. Mic drop, life over. It's like, no, no, no. Here comes the next thing. And you have to do a certain thing to hold on to that resonance. Crazy.
Yeah, I think it's good to talk about that. I think it's good to talk about how in the zone we were last week. And just because you're not feeling well or a couple things happen that maybe didn't go your way, that I think that's like a test. I think it's a test to see how quickly you'll forget how high you were, how awesome you were. And I think with the wisdom, you have to push back on that and say, no, like this is not going to be the norm. That resonance, that hum that we had, I'm going to get back there quicker. I'm going to acknowledge this stuff. I'm going to deal with it. I'm going to get back there because that's where I want to be. I think that's one of the big takeaways of today.
Well, that's your takeaway. Now I'm going to push back because I would
Good.
say that, fine. I would say that it's the things that don't align with my new resonance that are pissing me off and pulling me down and making me uncomfortable because they're the things that I'm actually supposed to start letting go of. And that stuff is never easy. You know, it's not easy to let go of building websites, of building brands, and focusing more on the high level consulting where I identify people's purpose in a way that is the most useful to the collective. That is my superpower, is seeing the person's soul so clearly and being able to put words to it so that they can then go forward and have somebody else build the website and build the brand. Now, I've been getting test after test since discovering this of, oh, can you do this logo design for me? Yes, I can. And then I'm not honoring the new resonance that I'm in because I'm going back to doing the old stuff. So I have a little bit of a battle going on.
You have a bridge to cross with, and I think that you are going to do it with grace. I think right now you're kind of frustrated and being not childish, but I think that you have to appreciate the fact that there is this period of time where you have to cross over the bridge, and your old life is going to keep pulling you back as you move forward into this new thing. And I, I mean, I appreciate the fact that you want to be at the other end of the bridge immediately, but the mature, the wisdom version of both of us knows that there's going to be this pull back into that old thing, and we just have to keep, because the thing I know about you that will drive you crazy is not only if you don't do something in resonance, but if you don't do it well or if you're not enjoying it. That's like the trifecta of awful because you love doing things incredibly well and you enjoy being compensated for it so that you can have nice things in your life. And you like making people cry and make them appreciate the things that you do. And that doesn't happen unless, you like you said, you want to be doing the things that you want to do, but you're still, at the beginning of the bridge or halfway there. You're almost there.
So, wouldn't you say that when those things, so I'm in the middle of this bridge, I'm trying to bridge this gap, I'm in the unknown. And when those things come to me from my old self saying, oh, if you do this, you'll make money, when do I stop saying no to those things? Like,
Yeah.
okay, so we had this conversation this past weekend with Kathleen that couples fight about the same three things over and over again. You and I know what one of them is. I was struggling for the other two, but I think this might be one of them where I don't want to do it for money. Money is not a main driver for me, but it kind of is for you. So you'll kind of nudge me and try and keep me doing those things. so that we have money. I'm not blaming you. We need money. I get it. If it were up to me, I would just go do the thing I love and we would not have any money and we'd be living in a box. Also, I'm not the systems person. I'm in the middle of the bridge. I'm ready to get to the other side and I'm ready to hurl myself there. But you're like, no, no, no. There has to be a process. There's steps to
Right,
do it.
right.
And that's so frustrating to me. It's maddening. Same like when we went to Europe with the kids. I just wanted to go right away. And you said, whoa, whoa, whoa. This has to be a process. Oh my God, I hate the word process.
Thank God for me because it all worked out exactly the way it was supposed to. You're welcome. But yeah, I mean, I get you. I know you've always been this way. When who called me crying every single night when we were engaged? All you wanted to do was live with me. And it's like if we could go back in a time machine, we probably would have just got married or moved out when we were 16 or 17 like we wanted to, and I would have worked full time and that would have been the end of it. But yeah, it's like we're always following, and I know this too about me, and I need to change this about me is I follow invisible rules that I make up in my head. You know what I mean? And I've been
That's
thinking about
amazing. I've
this.
never heard you say that out loud, but that's exactly it.
Yeah, I make up these invisible rules, and I was thinking about myself when I was younger. And I remember when I was in math class, division. I can't learn that. I can't learn that until next year when I'm older. Or I can't study genetics or I can't study that until I get to grade 8. I made up all these weird rules and it's like why couldn't I just flip the textbook to page 205, get to the end of the textbook and just learn what I want to learn when I want to learn it. I For some reason I put myself in this weird box and that when the teacher said I would be okay to learn this, that's when I would learn that.
You know why? You know why? I know why.
Oh, hit
It's
me with it.
because it's because your childhood was chaos with no boundaries and no rules and no safety. There was no certainty to anything except for the fact that there would be chaos. That was certain. So then you went and started to create all these invisible rules for yourself to give you structure, to give you something to control, right? That would keep you safe. I'm very sure that that's what it is.
Yeah, and there's so much of, who are we to talk about anything? I'm not a master's in psychology. And as I'm looking at this more and more, it's like, why not? Why not us? Why can't we have a voice? Oh, you can only have a voice if you pay $250,000 and get a piece of paper on the wall. That's the only way that you're allowed to have a voice. It's like, no, there's a reason why entrepreneurs exist, and there's a reason why they don't want that many entrepreneurs too. Because once you start figuring out that all the rules are in your head and they're imaginary, all of a sudden, you have all these free thinkers that can go and do incredible things. I think that you and I do incredible things all the time because you helped me break a lot of those chains off. All of that weird
I w-
systematic thinking.
I wouldn't throw away all of that because some of that is your superpower too, and your groundedness and your Virgo-ness. Like you do need to have the systems and you do need to have processes. And so I think maybe just identifying which ones are hindering you and which ones are helping you.
Yes. Because sometimes I throw the baby out with the bathwater, and I shouldn't do that either. There's a lot of
That's the
good.
phrase I was looking for, but I was worried I was going to butcher it and offend everyone.
Throw that tub out with the kid. Nah, you did. You you are awesome. I think that yeah, living with you. I mean, think about it. I've always just been super practical dream killer, and it's just way more fun like living in the like limitless possibilities realm. And even now there's sometimes where I'll give myself a reality sandwich. It's like, well, wait a minute. Like, no, I if I work hard enough at something, I still can do it. I can still learn something.
Maybe you don't have to work all that hard and you're going to get it anyway.
Well, that would be okay too. But Yeah, I mean, and that's a rule that I have too, right? In my head. Oh, I gotta grind it out. I gotta,
You're welcome.
yeah, I gotta do at least 1,000 hours of this before I can consider myself half decent. Yeah, no, it's interesting. But it's funny. I saw you have that moment with Bev today where you have to, or you were kind of coming into embracing your superpower and going to that next level. And you had that little moment of scared, as if, oh my God, like people are actually going to kind of see me with the cape on in your spandex.
Yeah, so if I'm going to unpack that, it's when you discover your superpower and you're resonating with it, that's the new version of you that's resonating. The old version of you is going to feel uncomfortable in it because it requires new things that will come to you, the new tools that you'll pick up along the way to be a success at that and to resonate at that level. But the old you is just like, this is a little scary. So we're going to hang back a bit, or, and then those thoughts start coming in. And a part of being awake and evolved is being able to say, wait a minute, that's the old me talking. This is just a little bit of fear attached to the little bit left of the other side of the bridge. So that's what that was. And I saw it too. I saw myself like physically react to her saying, step into your superpower. That's what you're good at. And she's crying, and you see me. I'm like, no, I know, I get my superpower. But if I say it out loud and tell people that my ability is to see into their soul, the magic that is them, and then putting words to it, then I'm on the hook to make sure that that happens. and and a part of me is scared of it.
Yeah, I mean, there is something to that. And look at me, I've been kind of at the edge too, and you've been urging me to jump. And yeah, I've had these, I don't know what it is. I don't know how to explain it. You see me and you see what's possible and you see me holding myself back. And I know that's got to be extremely frustrating for you. And I know the good thing for me, or the easy thing for me, is that you jump a lot quicker, a lot easier. You don't hesitate as long as I do. I feel like I'm anchored into the ground a lot harder, and I just got to get out of my own way. And it doesn't matter how much you cheer for me. It's like, when I'm ready to count to five and jump, it's got to be on my terms.
You know how I deal with it is I have this visualization where I put you into a little tiny golf ball and I put it on a tee and I take a like swing back and I follow through. And when you crack a baseball or a golf ball just at the right sweet spot and it sings and
Yeah, yeah.
that's it. I just crave that moment, that contact where I just hurl you into what I know that you're supposed to be.
I have I have a childhood memory of that. My dad throwing this ball for me. And I remember I was pretty young. I was probably like grade 4 or 5. And I didn't even have a baseball bat. I had a broken hockey stick because my parents didn't even buy that. But I hit this ball perfectly and it went flying. It looked like a professional athlete had hit it. It went so far. And I just remember just watching it. And it was just that perfect thing. I could still feel it, see it, hear it. And I remember my dad's like, "Well, you better go get it," because he was not as impressed with it as I was. But I remember that moment, and I just love the fact that he threw it. It wasn't me throwing it to myself. But man, when you hit it perfectly and it goes flying, I'm gonna envision myself getting hit like that with the golf ball, and it'll that's gonna be it. That's gonna be the thing that gets me going. I'm gonna watch you Happy Gilmore me into the future.
Perfect.
Yes. Oh man. Yeah, it was fun. Is there anything else you want to talk about tonight?
No, I'm so hungry I might die. So I'm looking at the clock. I'm like, oh, we did 45 minutes. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I wanted to do a really just a you and me one and put it out there today or tomorrow. I guess it'll go out right away. But
I'm
yeah,
hoping that somebody hears it who is struggling with the frustration of being in resonance one moment and then back to their old selves in the next moment, and the discomfort of that, knowing that we're all going through it at one point, and it's hard. It is hard becoming the next best version of yourself. It's not supposed to be easy, it's very difficult.
Yeah, there's a reason why that book, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, exists. It's almost like when you go to bed and you wake up, it's almost like you want to go back to who you were. Um, what's the word I'm looking for? Unintentionally. It's almost like it is a habit. You just kind of get pulled back into the old version of you, and you have to incorporate these new things that keep driving you forward. And it's okay to take a step back. I feel like this week, the last couple of days, was probably a step back.
It's maddening that autopilot is so enticing and that the human default is laziness. I feel like I'm constantly battling this default of laziness. It would be so nice to be lazy, but
And
nope,
then
you
the
got
and
to
then
do
the
the
check
work.
is yeah, and then the check's due, and your email is full, and it's like, oh my goodness. But man, let's just think about last week for a minute. And I had was it last week where I had that epiphany? I had that epiphany, and I was sitting there with you, and oh man, I should have journaled. I should have journaled that night so that I could go back, because in my mind I think, oh, I'll never forget this. I'll never forget this. And you know me, I'm on to the next thing very very easily. But it's the world is a funny place, and it tests you in interesting ways. And I feel like I'm passing more and more of the tests lately, and I like that. But today, my big takeaway was that I really do need to do everyone a favor and just be direct with them. That's my huge takeaway. It's like, no, I feel like me sparing people's feelings actually hurts me and them, whereas I should use my wisdom to give them the information that they need quickly, directly, and softly. I don't have to, you know, knife right through the heart with everything. I can do it. I can do it properly, and I could probably have better relationships with people if I did those kinds of things.
Well, you keep telling yourself that as a person who is direct and has no friends. I don't know if that's the right way.
You're my best friend.
Yeah, I know.
We'll figure it out eventually. It's it's hard. One of my friends, he confided in me last week, and I didn't know what to say. He was just telling me that how he knows all these people, and there's not many people that he actually considers his friend. And I would say that I think that that's probably most people nowadays. I feel like so many of us are so disconnected by technology, or just being needed or used for whatever work, help somebody move, whatever, and then never hear from the person again. It's yeah, life is hard. Like connection, it's I don't understand how people can have many connections. It's not easy to parcel your energy out to so many people. I don't get that.
Well, obviously, that's something that's energizing to them, right? There's a bunch of different humans. That's why there's 12 archetypes in the zodiac. Like,
Right.
some people need to have many connections, and that's fulfilling to them. Whereas I just need one, and it is extremely fulfilling. So, um, yeah,
Who,
I
me?
think it's a you, yes,
Oh.
obviously. It's a matter of checking in with yourself and seeing if that one thing is still serving, whether it's many connections or just one connection, and seeing where you need to expand a little bit. If you need to have less connections or more, it's just self awareness. It comes right back to self awareness.
Hmm. I'm gonna think about that. I'm gonna try and one of the habits that I really want to get into, one of the ones I'm really enjoying lately is spending a little bit more time holding you in the morning. I am really enjoying that, even though I did have the realization that 5 minutes in my mind is actually about 25 to
Yeah.
30 minutes. So in and I'm not even falling asleep. I'm just in this zone. And it's funny because at yoga too, I'll lay there, and I noticed it today too. We got there early, and I laid there, and I was probably meditating for what I thought was 5 minutes. It ended up being about 20. So something is going on when I'm in my like imaginary daydream zone where time and reality are gone. Especially if I'm not hearing the outside world, keep trying to pull me back in. But if I'm just like in that zone, t time is very different for me. That's an interesting phenomenon.
Your mistake is that you're labeling it. Just stop telling people, oh, just 5 minutes. Oh, 20 minutes. No, no, no. Just admit you have no concept of time and stop labeling it. Who cares? Just call it a bit of time.
Yes, that is my new slogan. I will see you in a bit of time.
There you go.
Nice. And we will see you all in a bit of time until the next episode. Goodbye, everyone. Wait,
Keep
that's
living your
cheesy.
genius.
Yes. Keep living your
We have a
genius.
tagline for crying out loud.
It's the Pear Genius podcast.
Just just stop.
Oh God, it's falling off the cliff, isn't
I'm leaving.
it?